Meeting to order. Just so you know, the meeting is being taped by Norton Media. If anybody else is taping, please just let us know. Pledge of Allegiance. I'd like to live here. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's go through the minutes. How are you guys get a chance to look at them?
Yes.
Any questions, changes?
None.
Okay, motion to approve the minutes for October 25th.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Warrants, Dan?
Mr. reports that she signed the following amounts for the October 25th, $483,860.37. November 13th, $388,590.39. Wish to enter these into the record.
All right, thank you. Student rep update, Cooper? Hi there.
The Breakfast with Santa at the LG North is coming up this Saturday, December 1st. At the middle school, they had their first basketball game today. I'm not sure who won, but hopefully us. At Norton High School, way back to Halloween, there was the teacher Halloween costume contest, and the English department won with all of them being grammar police. It was very interesting, to say the least. I didn't get a ticket, but a lot of people did.
I saw them.
Yeah. The juniors and seniors had the semi-formal. It was a lot of fun. I want to thank the World Language Department for hosting that, getting that all together. It was a great time. I can't wait to do it next year. The Honor Society inductions happened. A whole lot of, lots of inductions this year, especially in National English and History. Spirit Week happened. The seniors won the hallway decorating competition with Emerald City. Very green, but juniors, I think, were a little good.
But you're not biased or anything, right?
There was the Thanksgiving Assembly. We took a war, and the seniors won that as well. And the Unified Basketball and Varsity teams played together, and that was really fun to watch, and it was really cool to see them playing together. Sports, cross-country teams, boys and girls ended. Girls placed 16th at the Division IV State Championship, and boys placed 6th overall, which is the second best finish in school history. Boys soccer finished, they played a great season, but they did lose to Holliston. Okay, you're over there.
Thanks for reminding us. We just saw the great season.
And winter sports have started. And then coming up is the winter formal, which is formerly the snowball for the freshmen and sophomores.
Great, that's great. Thank you, that's a lot of information.
Yes,
All right, thanks, Cooper. Opening of school report, Mr. Yeah, I don't know if you want to be Mr. Marty or Mr. Martin Gagan.
Hi.
Whatever.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
I'm so glad everyone's here tonight to see my opening. Excellent. But just quickly, I just think that we've had an amazing opening. I can't thank enough everyone for welcoming me, and because I was hired pretty much right on the first day of school, so it's been kind of a quick kind of thing for me to get to know the students, get to know the teachers, get to know the faculty and staff, and get to know the community, and it's been amazing. I really do appreciate everyone doing so, and I've been super happy being here. But I just wanted to just touch on a few things to kind of see what we've been doing, and I can't thank Cooper and Caroline enough that they've been awesome of emailing all of us principals and asking us for updates that they've been given to the school committee. So that, I think, is an amazing thing. But if you go to our website, from the district website, you'll see some great pictures of the kids and things. And then for the last few months, I've been doing a newsletter, which kind of each week I put it out there, and it just kind of says things about it. So if you click on it, all of a sudden it will just take you to something to yell about. And so I'll start off with just kind of a little story about the week of what we've been doing, give some of the updates as to what's happening in the next week. So kind of like a reflex of like what happened last week, and then to just kind of say what's going to happen in the next week. And just try to use a lot of pictures and things that are what's going on. And one of the big pushes for this year was our kind of PBIS of just our hashtags and just kind of a positive behavior incentive for the school. And so we had that right before Thanksgiving, and all the kids do. So we post a lot of pictures, post like a lot of reminders for parents in the community as to what we're doing. And with that, there's been a lot, I've been getting into a lot of classrooms and just kind of posting pictures of things that I've seen and been able to observe. And just smiling faces of the kids and all the great things that the teachers are doing. And so that's like an example of one of them. Here's just an example of another one. Oops, didn't go. Of what we've been doing, and just again, just try to highlight for you that what's going on. And for me, as a parent of children as well, you know, when your kids come home and they'll say, like, and you'll ask them, like, how was school? And they'll give some type of grunt. Or they'll say, well, what did you do today? And they'll give that common answer of nothing. And you think, wow, 6 hours and all week and nothing. What do we pay these teachers for? And so what ends up happening is that you can have a conversation with kids. You can have a conversation with them and say, well, I did see on the Twitter feed that that you were working on something that worked with voting over during the voting time, and you can kind of see through the tweets that that in Miss Carline's class that they were working on Genius Hour. And in Miss Marceau's class, I saw that you were working on math. And just kind of opening that conversation and having that conversation with your kids and being able to kind of communicate that. So not only just communication of just announcements and things that what are going on, but just communicating the things that are happening in classrooms so that you kind of know. And gone are the days of the paper newsletter that went home like the week of or the week after from the teachers, and because that paper isn't going to get home with a 4th or 5th grader. So how do we go about kind of doing it in a different way? And I think it's utilizing the technology that we have. But so all these things are available to you. If you ever have a question or anything, please don't hesitate. But we're trying to put as much as we can out there. I've been trying to, excellent PTO here that's helped us out with book fairs and things like that, and fundraisers. But it's been amazing, just a few quick months here. It's amazing. It's going to be December in just a couple days. But I really appreciate it.
It's been nice to see everything on Twitter and Facebook, all your posting that you're doing. It's nice to see.
Thanks.
Because it gives us the opportunity to kind of see what's going on, even though our kids aren't here anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. Oh, he still has one.
She looks for your sign every Thursday.
I know, I missed her today. Somehow or another in the transit of where the buses all were. And then I saw her at the end of the day, I'm like, oh, we should have taken that
I
picture.
think Mr. Hayward said it last year, you can put anything on a piece of paper and put it in front of a kid and they'll stand there.
Yeah,
She's like, as soon as she gets off the bus, she's like, where's the paper, where's the paper? She looks forward to it.
It's been very fun, been very good. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you
Is that-
very much.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Yeah,
And
that's
also,
great.
just to let you know, I also, and I typically don't do this because it's very internal, but I did share your weekly this week with the school committee since you were presenting tonight, so they can see some of the things that you send the staff on your Friday memo, some of the things that you see and you hear around the school and so on and so forth. So thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
very
Thank you all for coming for tonight. I guess you can go now.
All right, next up we have recognition of Norton High School boys soccer team by Friends of the Norton Senior Center, Mr. Bill Burns. Hi.
Can I get the guys up
Of course you
Absolutely.
can.
Members of the
Yeah.
soccer team, come on up.
First of all, I just wanted to thank Dr. Valletta for inviting us here today and the committee. We appreciate it. I'm president of the Friends of the Norton Seniors. Okay, we have a fundraiser once a year. And this year, we were approached so we can give these guys some community service. And it was incredible, the job they did. It's not like doing a car wash or something that raising money for themselves. They were there helping other people serve, and, you know, they had a blast. What they did, we had about 140 people there that they had to serve food to. They set the tables up, they brought the food to every single individual, they brought the desserts, and they did this all with a big smile on their face.
Did a little dance.
Then they even got up and danced with some of the seniors, and it was incredible. And we had another crew come in, and they did all the cleanup. You know, a lot of people don't like doing cleanup, but they did everything with a smile. They were joking, they were kidding, they had a blast. I mean, they really enjoyed themselves, and they really touched all of us, and we really appreciate it, you know. And if they keep up this positive attitude, you know, in the future, they have quite a future ahead of them. You know, it shows a lot of great skills. And what we've got, we made up a plaque, certificate of appreciation, that acknowledges that the Norton High School boys soccer team recognized for their support to the Norton Senior Center, our annual fundraiser. So I'd like to present this to all of them, to the parents, you know, it's a big thing, you know. I'm really proud of you guys.
Perhaps you could go right in the middle.
Yeah.
And I would like to thank one other person here, Sheila Diesel, for helping organize all the kids. It was great. I was surprised. We didn't have to fight to get them to do anything. They were volunteering. They were sad to see some of the things in. You know, they said, can we come back next time?
Smile.
They even came over to the senior center and played volleyball.
Volleyball.
Yeah, volleyball.
Excellent.
Fantastic.
Loved it. Oh my God, they had such a good time.
Once again, just hand this to you guys. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So boys, thank you for what you guys did. I mean, you guys represent all of us when you go into the community like that. We appreciate it. I'm very proud of you guys.
Well
Nice
done.
job on a good season.
did that, Jerry.
I didn't cry this time.
I want you to know that they won't say it, but they had the best time in the world. It was one of the most fun things they've ever done. they
That's
said.
great. That's nice. Thank you.
And they hope to do it in the years to come.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's an interesting, one of the things that's happened this year is there's been more outreach between the high school and the senior center with the athletic and activity passes. These guys, with no notice from my office anyways, I'm sure probably through the parents and the coaches, et cetera, just decided that this was something they wanted to do. And we appreciate you folks very much for recognizing them, because recognizing them allows that positivity within the youth, working with the seniors, and I think that's a win-win for the community of Norton. So thank you so much for recognizing.
Thank you.
We'll go on to the Student Excellence Awards. Dr. Bayetta.
Thank you. So I think tonight we might just call it a night of celebration, because I think we're doing a lot of that tonight. And so I'd like to recognize a few of our students this evening. And so I'm going to call the four of them to come out: Michelle Gow, Jonathan Carlson, Sarah Kavinsky, and Eric Sullivan. You guys. So, in no order here, these are the top 4 students of the class of 2019 that are before you right here. So that in itself is worth. Every year since I've been here, we've recognized 4 students every year. Not necessarily the top 4, by the way, because we're looking for students that are well-rounded, and we give them 4 different awards. One is the certificate award that comes directly from my office. One is from the MASS, which is the Superintendent's Association, and 2 of them come from the council, the area council, which is for student academic growth and leadership. So these students, based on high school principal Lisa Giuliani, who's here in the back, and members of the staff, administrative staff at the high school, are really the folks that said these are 4 students that we believe are willing and wanting, if you will, or should receive this award and be recognized. And then I get to meet with them. And I can tell you this year was a pleasure to meet with them. Every year it's always fun to meet with them. We always have unique conversations because I want them to talk about themselves. And I can tell you it's not easy for them to talk about themselves. We usually end up talking about other things as well and other involvements that I have with them. So I'd like to recognize these students, and I have some things that I'd like to say about each of them, as was provided to me by the high school. And then I'm going to ask them each to give you about 30 seconds of, what schools you're applying to and that kind of stuff. Nice and easy. I think it's important for people to recognize it. So, receiving the Academic Growth and Student Leadership Award, and also a semifinalist for the 2019 National Merit Scholarship Program, is Michelle Gao. As it stands today, Michelle will be leaving Norton High School as the #1 ranked student in her class. Michelle always puts forth incredible effort in her academics and makes her schoolwork a priority. This is demonstrated through her impressive GPA, class rank, and consistent high honor roll status. Aside from being the president of 2 honor societies, Michelle has also earned the award of AP Scholar with Distinction, as well as the President's Award for Academic Excellence for the past 2 years. As a senior, she continues to challenge herself by enrolling in 6 AP courses, advanced placement courses, as well as a dual enrollment course that she will be taking this spring. I didn't take 6 in 4 years. Michelle is the valued leader of the school student council and student government, as well as dedicating countless hours to planning other school events. So Michelle, I would like to recognize you for this certificate, if you will. That just reads, from the National School Development Council, Award for Academic Growth and Student Leadership and Learning, presented to Michelle Gao, as signed by the Regional Director of the Board of Directors and myself. Congratulations. I get to take a picture with you first, just over there.
Can you just open that? Thank you.
Thank you. And I know it's a list. Tell me the list of schools you were applying to.
UMass Amherst, University of Michigan, Johns Hopkins, Georgia Tech, Cornell, Carnegie Mellon.
Not bad, huh?
Which one are you hoping for?
Oh, that's a good question.
I'm glad you asked that because I was going to ask her. What do you want to major in?
Computer science.
Computer science. So, congratulations. Our second recipient tonight is for the Superintendent's Award of Excellence. Jonathan Carlson is currently second in the senior class with a GPA of 4.64. He has consistently challenged himself throughout his coursework and is a talented artist. This year, Jonathan is not only enrolled in a number of honors courses in AP Psych, AP Spanish, and AP Art History, but he is also dedicated to take on intensive independent study encompassing his passion for art. Jonathan currently serves as president of the Gender Sexuality Alliance, GSA. At the beginning of his junior year, membership had dwindled to 1 member. Jonathan has determined to restore, if not strengthen, GSA. Currently, there are more than 18 members, and the number continues to grow. Jonathan has exemplified leadership through his ability to bring more visibility to GSA and having an instrumental role in revitalizing the club. Jonathan has not only excelled within the realm of Norton High, but he also made a positive impact on the students at Mariposa School. Jonathan was a member of the small group that traveled to the Dominican Republic on a service learning trip to help the girls of the Mariposa School. Jonathan's passion for learning, drive to excel, and compassion to help others identify and solidify his character and allow him to be a leader that allows him to strive to emulate. Congratulations. Congratulations. Flip that way. You take a picture first. I know he's so excited. So tell us a little bit about where you're applying to. Here we go.
BU, NYU, Suffolk, Wesley, that's all you got. Okay.
Not a bad list. Not a bad list. Congratulations. And thank you. Sarah Kubinski stands out for her incredible academic achievement and contributions to the Norton High School Society. In addition to being ranked number 3 in her class, Sarah is a member of 6 honor societies and holds the title of Science National Honor Society Secretary. She is a talented athlete and plays for the school's varsity soccer team. We spent a lot of time talking about that because I'm a former coach. As well as winter and spring track, I had nothing to tell her about that. Sarah shares her love of soccer with others by volunteering her time to coach her youth teams in the community. Sarah has demonstrated that she's an intelligent and driven student. I heard a lot about that when we were talking one-on-one, with a fire for learning. And so this year's award is the National School Development Council Award. Second award for academic growth and student leadership goes to Sarah Kavinsky. Thank you. And?
I'm applied to UVM, BC, Providence College, and Holy Cross. Those are like my top.
Very nice. Another list of And last but not least, Eric Sullivan is one of the top of his class with a 4.54 GPA, ranking 4th out of 189 students. Throughout his high school, he has challenged himself by taking most of all honors and AP level courses, and has met each one with success. Eric has an extremely strong work ethic and prides himself in taking ownership for his own academic choices. He makes excellent connections with his teachers, which will be a beneficial characteristic to have during college. Eric has particularly enjoyed his science courses, but is most truly a well-rounded student in all academic realms. Eric is a member of 7 honor societies. Eric also stands out as a leader amongst his peers as the president of both the Tri-M Music Honor Society and the Peer Achieving Change Together Club. He aims to continue his learning, and he is thinking of becoming a nurse. Correct? Awesome. So this year's Mass Association of School Superintendents Award, Certificate of Academic Excellence, having Eric Sullivan, having duly qualified under, I don't have my glasses, you see, under the standards prescribed by the Mass Association of School Superintendents, hereby awarded this Certificate of Academic Excellence as signed by me. All right, here we go. What's the list? Fire away.
The University of Pittsburgh, Northeastern, UMass Amherst, UVM, and the University of Michigan.
Not bad, right? Do you want to sign? We'll just face the picture.
You don't have to open them, it's okay.
And something we don't do very often, but we're going to do it this year. We're going to change it up. Miss G, why don't you join us for a picture? The acting principal of Norton High School, Miss Lisa Giuliano. Thank you very much. Congratulations. As I say every year, if it isn't for the parents that are here, the family that is here, and I'd like to recognize all the families that is here as well. And then lastly, I'd like to recognize our K-12 staff, although we always recognize our high school staff because this is the end of their culminating. It's our pre-K to 12 staff that has helped to support these students whenever they came into our district. So thank you to our staff and thank you to our parents. And it's one more day Friday before the I almost said long weekend, before the weekend. Yeah. What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to the 4 of you, I just want to thank you guys for being such great leaders for our other students in the district. It's impressive. I hope you guys have a great rest of your senior year and good luck next year. We love to see the audience so full, but we totally understand if you guys want to get out of here and not stay for the rest of our meeting. So if you want to head out, feel free. If you want to stay, that's great too.
And as they're doing that, there's a gentleman in the back who has just been recognized as the TVL Boys Soccer Coach of the Year, Coach Green, right there in the back. Moment with you. I got to add it with a compliment. So congratulations to you and your boys for such a great season.
Does that mean I have to stay? Or
I don't know. I'll tell you tomorrow. Thank you folks very much. Thanks for coming. Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to the Global Leadership Conference presentation. This is Karen Whisper and students. Dr. Schieffer.
So before we get started, there are some students from Dr. Kiefer's group that did go to the Dominican Republic. I think they're going to make their way up. We're going to kind of do a joint session. Do you want to introduce yourselves?
I'm Max King, junior.
I'm Kylie Dial.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Bella Demicki. I'm a senior at Norton High. I'm Riley Young, and I'm a junior at Norton.
So we're going to kind of compare the two trips a little bit, have a little bit of information because they went on the service learning trip and we went on the leadership summit trip. So would you like to go first?
Sure. So for MassQ, which is the conference at Gillette that we attended, we made this trifold of just a few pictures from our trip. So basically, Riley and I, among others such as Jonathan, went to the Dominican Republic and volunteered at the Mary Post Foundation for Girls. And basically, it's an after-school and before-school program just to get girls within the community to really develop their individuality and learn beyond subjects like math and English, although they did learn that in the schools, but they also learned how to swim. They played team building activities through sports and through games. And so basically we were there to kind of just help them along the way and kind of display a path for them to let them know, that there's more than just what was available to them within their small communities. So.
Yeah, so what we did there was we went to classes with the girls, so we would follow them throughout the day and get to participate in their classes, maybe even help them with like math or the games they were playing. But then after they would leave, because they were only there for about 3 hours and then they would attend regular school, we worked on a construction project, which was building a 10-foot cinder block wall in the back of the school to complete the security, because right behind the school is a poor community, which a lot of the girls do come from. So it was just trying to secure the school, and we did end up finishing it. And we also participated in projects like we tarnished their yoga platform, we relocated some plantains for them, helped in their garden, and
yeah, it was mostly just a lot of community service work. We did get to sightsee a little bit, which the area was beautiful, and honestly, it went by way too fast. I will definitely be back there again someday. It was a really great experience.
And how long did you girls go for?
We were for a week. Yeah, just a week.
This was our first attempt at service learning, and this is after I did the national superintendent's group that went, in our case, to Barcelona on the service learning. We went actually to critique what the students are doing. Is it too much, not enough? Are they being asked to speak the language that they're there? In some cases, in all cases, they were, because the students don't necessarily speak English, if at all. So it requires that idea of service learning at the same time the building of relationships with younger students in this case. Well done.
So how did you do with the language?
I think it went really well.
Yeah.
We went with we went from students from another school, and a couple of them come from families where they do speak Spanish, but they personally weren't fluent.
Right.
And like one of our good friends there, her dad was from Costa Rica, and she, spoke like a little Spanglish, but like as soon as
That's what it is.
like she would have by like the end of like the third day, she'd be on her phone with her dad, like talking like completely in Spanish. Like it really like helped like you just like completely like indulge in the language.
Yeah. Yeah, and I noticed that with some of the students that took French, they didn't know any Spanish at all besides hola and adios. So when we got there, they were like, besides like I'm at Spanish 5 right now, so I kind of like had that extra step. But there were definitely those French kids were so like afraid that they weren't going to be able to properly communicate with the girls there, but it ended up being the complete opposite. Like language was just like not a barrier. Like none of us looked at it as a barrier. It was just like an opportunity. So it was just a really great experience overall to communicate with them.
That's great.
And then I'm just going to ask you to explain what you did at MassQ. So the MassQ conference is the Massachusetts Computer Using Educators, and they put out a request for students, and I believe you were, was it the Global Exchange that you participated in?
Yeah. So Riley and I and Laurel Parker and Nora Carr, we went to MassQ through the Global Education Initiative program, and we kind of just were within the Girls from Norwood, which was the other town that we went with. We were in a section where there was a lot of student works, and so there was some student technology projects, and there was a couple global service trip displays. So we were amongst one of them, and we kind of just made people aware of what the trip was like, and explained to people, what EF was, which was the company that we went through, and the benefits of doing it, and just how our experience was.
I think there was a lot of teachers that came up and personally asked questions about how it went because they wanted to do programs like that in their school, or they have done them and wanted to see how this one compared to theirs.
Great. So that's an opportunity to be accepted to present at a conference. So we're very proud of the whole team and Dr. Kiefer for bringing the students. Now our trip was a little bit different. We had the opportunity to go on a tour in Italy, and then we were attending, the whole reason why we went was the Student Leadership Summit. It was Technology Leadership Summit, again through EF, except our group was partnered with a group from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, because we had a small group that was going to the summit. I don't think the students understood what the summit experience was. It was our first time in Norton sending a group to a summit, and it basically brings forth students from all around the world, and they're working collaboratively. So that was the whole experience. Italy was a bonus, right? And do you want to talk about that? That was why you went, right?
Yeah, I went just for Italy because it was my dream to go there, but then I liked it and I loved going there, but by the end I kind of wanted to go home because it was tiring. But when I went to Berlin, I didn't want to go home because it was just so amazing, seeing all the different people and working with everyone.
So Berlin was where the summit was. So we were able to go to both Italy and Berlin. Berlin was a much shorter kind of tour. The whole goal was the summit, and we do have a quick little video. Do you want to talk about anything in particular, Matt?
Well, it was just a really cool experience to go with kids from Philadelphia, because it's a completely different part of the country, and it was kind of nervous to go, especially because it was pretty much just me and Kylie from Norton, and I was kind of scared that they were all gonna be friends with each other, and we weren't really gonna I was gonna be by myself a lot. But then they were all really accepting, and I made a lot of really good friends, and I still talk to a lot of them frequently. So it's cool. It was a good experience.
And so our travel experience was a little bit different. We had some canceled flights, so we got stuck in Paris.
Shame.
I know, it was terrible. It really was terrible.
It wasn't you calling the airline to cancel it.
It was not. It was not. No, we did do a lot of firsts, so it was a great experience. We did have a small group. There were 2 other students that joined us, and then we joined a group of 24 students, so there were 28 students altogether. And that's, a part of it is you're traveling, but it's that experience of you need to figure out public transportation in a different language, so that we were in a group, and I think that experience for the students was certainly beneficial. We do have a 3-minute video that kind of shows you the highlights. That I'm just going to pull that up. So if you would like to sit. And I'm going to just move this just a little bit. I said, we're in Paris, we are going on this. Under the Eiffel Tower.
They look so happy.
I need you to talk about Gladiator School a little bit. It's fantastic music.
Culturally connected.
So we did do sightseeing before we went to the summit.
So right now, the students are working in pairs to develop a prototype for their table's idea, and then they're soliciting feedback on the user experience from other students.
So they had like guest speakers, and this happened to be Glenn Keane, who was the Disney Imagineer who actually did The Little Mermaid. And he's actually an older gentleman, retired from Disney, but he's wearing a virtual reality headpiece, and he's drawing in the air. You can't really see him down here, but this is what he's seeing. So it's that tie-in of art and technology. It was a fabulous experience. I would love for you to just talk, maybe, you know, when I think about the design process and design thinking, they were thrown in with kids. I mean, you and Kylie were not in the same group. You know, you've got 1,000 kids, and they're thrown into a group of you know, 100, and then broken down into like a group of 10, and they have to come up with a product that's going to solve a problem, and had to tie in with technology. So that was the whole point of the summit. Technology's influence and impact on our regular, everyday lives.
What did you guys come up with at each of your tables? Your recall?
Rebecca?
Well, mine was, we worked on like dealing with like depression and anxiety, and we did like an earpiece that would send signals to like if like you were either depressed or had anxiety, and it would like send waves to your brain to help you relax.
Very cool. I could use one of those right now.
Yeah, mine was, well, we had to get like a user like issue, and the issue that we had was a girl couldn't play soccer anymore because she has too many concussions, and so she like we tried to invent like a helmet for like soccer that was like kind of like small and like lightweight, so it didn't really like take away from the game, but it could help her like continue to play even though she's had concussions.
Very cool.
And the winning prototype was actually created for allergies, for people who have allergies. It was almost like, I envisioned like a Fitbit or like a watch, a smartwatch, where you would just kind of scan it over like your plate of food, and it would tell you after you had programmed it whether or not there were any allergens in the food. So I know we have a lot of issues, but these are high school kids that came up with this.
That's what I'm
you know?
thinking. It's hard to believe. I think that's
It was
when I was in
amazing.
high school. This wasn't even on my mind at all. I mean, you guys are really, never mind a great experience for you guys, but Yeah, we've got some great kids in this town. I mean, the things that you do are just amazing. Yeah.
And we want to thank their families, because their families are the ones who financially supported for this entire trip. This is a trip that's 100% self-funded by families. And so it's not cheap. Of the two, this is the most expensive, but they're both expensive for parents to come up with, families to come up with. So we want them to be something that they can talk about for the rest of their lives, and someday when they have a family can say, you know, this is worth doing. So congratulations to all four of you and your peers. I just want to recognize not only Ms. Winsberg, but also Dr. Kiefer, who took that group. And then we're getting ready for an April visit upcoming, so we'll be doing some of that as well. So congratulations to all that are involved. Without them, we can't do it.
So what's like the criteria to go on these trips?
So we put together, so what we did is we put together, if you remember, our key was that we were going to have a pre-application that had recommendation from the teacher, grades, attendance, discipline, and why did you want to go? And that goes to the assistant superintendent's office as the general review. And so far, we've had some real good success.
And it's interest-based too, right? Mm-hmm. So this particular trip, the summit trip that I went on was, I think because a lot of students didn't really know what the summit experience was going to look like. I think perhaps that's why we had such a small number. But I actually think it was even a better experience being able to be with that other group, because our kids are now traveling with, someone else from, the U.S. and we're meeting kids from other countries as well. So I think it was awesome.
It's very catered. I mean, one of the things that when we brought in our Global Education Initiative program a year and a half ago, the key for me was to make sure that this is not about going on a vacation. That there is in service learning, there's a ton of work. And for the summit, there's work. In terms of, you might not be building something out in a village in a country and picking up dirt and all of that stuff, but there's a different type of work in terms of working with other students, coming up with a prototype. I want to call the kid the team that came up with
They had to do a pitch too,
because
which was fantastic.
I could definitely use this at every single one of our schools right before lunchtime. Just because of the number of children that we have that have allergies. So but just the thought process of just taking something that, incredible.
So based on the group that was selected as a top one, is it something they could pitch to like a group of investors? Like, is there investors there, or is this just?
So it ended up being the educators that were there, teachers, administrators. We voted for the first round, and then the celebrity guests, the people who were the guest speakers, did the final vote. So there was, each room had a color. I think, Kylie, was yours pink, maybe? Hot pink.
Not just
Max,
pink, hot pink.
Yeah, there were two different things. But so they were grouped by color, and then within that group of 100, they were in groups of 10. So the educators voted on the 10, and then the celebrity guests voted on the top of each color. So, but they could absolutely pitch this for sure. I actually think the model, I would love to bring it to like a regional kind of experience, because it was fabulous.
I think that'd be great. Yeah.
You compound international travel, being in a group, 3 different countries because of the layover as well. With developing something, meeting people from other countries, 1,000 kids in a program. With the other program where you're giving direct service learning plus presentation at MassQ, that's pretty impressive stuff for Norton High School.
Yeah.
So congratulations to all that are involved in this process, and thank you to the families who supported this and are supporting their families in doing this.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. All right, so we'll move on. Personnel, Dr. Diana.
Thank you, Ms. Cohen. Tonight I am presenting to you 2 folks that are joining the team. Samantha Bamilla, who is, where is Sam? There she is. Come on up, Sam, so that everybody can just see you real quick. Sam is joining us as our financial analyst and transportation coordinator that was reshuffled as part of the position that was let go. Sam has been with us for, 2 weeks now? 3 weeks. 3 weeks. She comes to us from Steward Healthcare as a financial analyst. So we're very lucky to have her. She's working out of Jean's office currently, along with Matt's office. Right now she's taking care of our learning everything to do with circuit breaker and Medicaid reimbursement. We're going to let her dive into that for a while and then learn the next. And a number of people that she works with. I know Donna's office she helps and works with, Jean's office, of course, and Matt's. So we welcome her tonight. And believe it or not, it's interesting because she has a degree from Bridgewater State College, a Bachelor of Science in Special Education Communications Disorders. So she's well, she might not be giving direct services, but she's very well connected to what she's going to be doing. So welcome to Sam. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
And our second person that we have coming up to this evening is Karina Saloway. Karina, if you would join us. Karina is a new graduate of Westfield State University and comes to us with a Bachelor of Arts in Communication. She's joining us as our Communications and Media position, an area that we've been trying to improve as you all know. And she comes literally right out of school, so this is her first gung-ho, so she's got a lot of things to do, as she knows, and she starts with us on Monday. And that position is all about communications to the family and community, as well as I have told the staff, telling our story to the community in a way that our community can really see all the things that are happening. And tonight is a perfect example of taking something like we've been celebrating and just taking that to another level of being able to communicate that tomorrow morning first thing. So we appreciate you joining us and look forward to seeing you on Monday, and congratulations to both of you.
Sherry, can I just ask you a question? Can you just explain the two positions of, you said one was a position, somebody was like, oh, a position added, was the second one is that a new position?
It is. It was a position that the school committee and I have been talking about for a number of years, and we decided to take the chance on telling the story to the community about Norton Public Schools.
Thank you.
Yep.
And I can just to say with that as well, it's I've tried to do a lot this year of getting information out on Facebook, so I cannot wait for Karina to start because it's a lot of work for me trying to get stuff out there about what is happening in the schools and meetings and all that stuff. It takes a lot of time, and you know, we're doing this, we're doing other stuff, we're raising families, so I'm really looking forward to her starting and kind of taking that on.
I don't think the role of a school committee member, Sherry knows this, the role of a school committee is not to tell the story of the district. And we do a really good job on Twitter and all of that other stuff. My staff is hugely involved. And we know the heat that comes with this, but we really believe that we need to be able to have a better communication process that goes throughout the system in order to make sure that our families are well aware of what's going on in the district, as well as those crisis things that come up and how to handle them best. So.
And I think even more importantly is the community. I think it's important for Karina, part of Karina's job is to reach out to the community and let them know, because how else would, friends from the senior center know about what the soccer team just did, or, these amazing kids that we've had in front of us tonight. We know that. We know it because we hear them in front of us. But not many other people know this information. So I think it's a great way to just kind of showcase what Norton has to offer. When people are deciding on schools and where they want to go, these kinds of things will all help in making people's decisions. So, thanks for the question, though. All right, I think that's it. Awarding NEED grants, members of the NEED organization.
As our NEED friends come up, I just want to publicly just once again acknowledge them as a working group. Working with the administration in not only fundraising and everything that they do to bring this all together, but also all the little things that they do as a background for Norton Public Schools. So thank you all for your work and your efforts. And I'll turn it over to you for formal introduction.
Thank you. Most of the members are here, not everybody. I'm Karen McCamera. Oh, hello. This is Tama Best, Katie Conway, Beth Blakely, Gina Heaney, Karen Giovannoni, and Sue Deedes back there. We're representing NEED tonight. We're going to update you with our fundraising progress and announce this year's grant recipients. NEED continues to grow with new membership. We have 2 new members this year, and we continue to have a firm partnership with the Martial Arts Connection and TMAC Kids Sky. Since last winter, our fundraising efforts included Square One Art, which we split profits 50-50 with the JCS, Yale, and LGN elementary art departments. Thank a Teacher, 2 Savers clothing drives, an apparel fundraiser, and a night of raffles and dining at Home Plate here in Norton. We were also fortunate to receive very generous donations from both Horizon Beverage and Live Nation Xfinity Center this fall.
We have once again moved up the timeline for the grant process from last December to this past October. Awarding grants in the fall allows us to coincide with the district budget process and allows the teachers to implement their projects earlier in the school year to maximize the benefits with their students. This year, Meade received a record 23 grant requests totaling almost $23,000, yet another record. Today, we are awarding a total of $17,506. We would like to extend a very special and grateful thank you to the JCS, LGN, Yale, and Norton Middle School parent boards for their generosity in helping us to fund these innovative and creative grant requests. We would not have been able to fund that amount of grant money without their help. Their support of Meade and Norton Public School teachers is invaluable to our cause, and we appreciate them so much. Meade's goal is to support the enhancement, rigor, and innovation of teaching and learning, and not to be purchasing supplies, materials, and consumable items that should be provided through the budgetary process. This year at the October town meeting, with support from the Finance Committee and the Board of Selectmen, the school committee appropriated much-needed funds to purchase supplies and materials. Several of the grants that Meade received were written prior to this town meeting. Some of these grant requests that were previously unsupported through the town's budgetary process were items such as a printer and cable, toner, ink, paper, etc. We are grateful for the town meeting vote that approved funds the district will now utilize for some of the previously mentioned grant requests. Without this vote, Meade would not have been able to fund as many grant requests.
Tonight, we would like to thank all the teachers who submitted grant requests and acknowledge all this year's recipients. So I know we couldn't have all the teachers attend this evening, but if you are here and we call your name, could you come up and stand with us? First, from the LD Norse, we have Jen Carlson, grade 1, who will be receiving a Makerspace Mobile project card, allowing hands-on learning for STEAM, which is science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics. Elizabeth Falvey and Kirsten Siddell, kindergarten, will be receiving an Osmos Creative Board Kit. The kits will allow students to work independently and at a developmentally appropriate level while increasing student confidence and academic progress. Julie Dermas, library media specialist, will be receiving a 3D doodler. This project enables the students to engage in project-based learning that is motivating and fun to support their academic learning. Carol Clark, speech-language pathologist, will be receiving Model Me social communication skills videos. These videos demonstrate social skills by modeling peer behavior in various settings at the elementary level. Next, at J.C. Solomese, the following grant was awarded. Amy Weber, grade 3, will be receiving 5 iPad minis, which will allow for user-friendly engagement, especially for students with special needs. iPads will be used for projects and applications not available on Chromebooks. The set of 5 iPads will complement the current set of 9 for a total of 14, which makes it possible for both halves of the class to share and also will be available to all of their grade classes at JCS. At the Yale, we have Diane Bruno, 5th grade math, science, and social studies, who will be receiving IXL and vocabulary subscriptions to complete the school year.
And the following teachers have received grants from the Norton Middle School. First, we have Kyla Kucher, a music teacher. She will be receiving an electric piano and a bench. And this piano will help make concerts and rehearsals sound fuller and more refined. Cheryl Mulligan and Christina Schlingo, grade 6 science and social studies, will be receiving 4 extra virtual reality goggles and iPods to add to their current set for interactive learning experiences. These 4 items will complement their current set to create a set that would be available for half of the class to share with the other half. Christine Gonnett, 7 Light Social Studies, will be receiving a subscription to a current events curriculum from Junior Scholastic for the 2019-2020 school year. This year, our largest list of recipients is from Norton High School. First, we have Jennifer Young, the library media specialist, who will be receiving Rubik's Cube Mosaics, a learning system that encourages fun ways to use logic, promotes teamwork, and sparks creativity. In addition to solving the puzzles, the students will work on mosaic designs and blueprints, creating mosaic maps. The high school students will also be using these for their mosaic club and plan to enter competitions with their designs. They will also be sharing with the middle school to foster interest and create a theater group, which heads to the high school. Jennifer Skoronik, TV Media, will be receiving materials for broadcasting. This equipment will help make better quality videos through portable lighting, a large monitor, and a reflector kit. Robert McCoy and Kayla Swede will be receiving 25 Google Cardboards for virtual reality interactive learning. The VR goggles will provide an immersive, multi-sensory approach to education, bringing history to life. Jessica Iazzi and Heidi Loring from the GRIT program will be taking their group on a field trip for the team building to Treetop Adventures in Canton, Mass. This field trip embodies the acronym Growth, Resilience, Integrity, and Teamwork. And Matthew Knippel from Music will be receiving 25 iRig Keys Pro keyboards. These keyboards will allow students to play music through their Chromebooks, phones, or other devices, bringing Norton High School toward 21st century music and recording. It will also benefit the students' skill set and musical knowledge.
Again, we'd like to thank the parent boards at the LGN, JCS, Yale, and Norton Middle School for their help in supporting the grants this year. We're happy to announce that almost 100% of the grant requests were able to be funded either through need, committed funds from the parent boards, or district supplies and material funding. We're grateful to everyone for their continued support this year. Before we conclude, we would like to introduce President Hannah Goldman and Vice President Amanda Romaine of the Triad Music Honor Society, who would like to say a few words.
Hi, my name is Hannah Goldman. And I'm Amanda Romaine. I'm the co-president of Triad.
And I'm vice president. And we're here on behalf of Norton High School Music Honor Society and the music department to thank you for the grant. And these keyboards will be a major upgrade for Norton High School music for us to be able to expand our knowledge of music.
It's clear that people are supporting the music and showing that they understand how much music means to us and other students in Norton. So thank you for this grant. And thank you for all you guys do for the community.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you could absolutely. I don't know if anyone has any questions or.
I just want to say a huge thank you to you guys. I mean, without you, I don't know where we would be. You guys have been doing this for a long time. Need's been around for a long time. I can't wait to get my new jacket. Super excited about that. But thank you, really, because it really does make a difference for our teachers, for our children. So thank you.
I want to just give a shout out to the flag team tonight too. Because even though MEAT didn't actually fund the grant, you guys worked it out so district money would be able to do it, and that I totally appreciate it.
Thank you.
I really appreciate that.
And we're excited to work with our new communications director as well, because I think that will help us. There are still a lot of people out in town that don't know about what we do, and the more people that know better, the more we can help.
Right. Thank you.
We're gonna go this way in front.
Oh, sure.
Kind of, and just like horseshoe a little bit. While we're doing that.
Thank you for
Yeah, of course.
Just for this.
How about in the front? You want some folks in the front?
Yeah, we can kneel in the front if you want.
Yeah.
Kirsten,
she can't kneel. She's
Oh,
fine.
that's right. Yeah.
I can't kneel.
Here, guys. I can
Students could totally kneel.
There we go.
You want some chairs? Or you want some
No, I
chairs?
think we're okay. Can we just, I'm just gonna have you push down just a little bit. Yeah?
I can be out of it completely.
No.
I'm a little bit of a
You
wide.
can get it.
I'm a little bit of a wide angle.
I'm gonna take a couple. One.
That's nice.
Well, this is the one we like for the website.
I blink. I always blink.
Thank you very much.
I saw Colin today. Did you? I see him like periodically. Oh, wait, you were
You folks are headed back. I
Miscommunication
just want to just share a sincere thank you. The NEED group has been working with, at least my time here, the administrative team since day one, and asking for this support to check on to make sure that we're looking at things in a way that we think are going to enhance our curriculum in the classroom. And as you can see from tonight's presentations and or as you said, Ms. Correa, the idea that through the parent boards and luckily for us through the town meeting, we were able to support almost 100% of these things going forward. So they spend a lot of time working on this, so we thank you. We can't do it without you, and we thank the teachers for coming up with creativity and going after it. And the grant process, especially this earlier in the year, allows for the implementation of most of these grants, right after the first of the year or whenever some of the purchases come in, and that's a win-win for us. So thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, next we'll move on to the announcement of the class of 2019 Adams Scholarship recipients. Dr. Bennett.
Thank you, Ms. Cohen. Before you have the John and Abigail Adams Scholarship recipients for the class of 2019. These students are all able to receive from the Commonwealth tuition funds. We had a celebration with Ms. G and Mr. Searcy at the high school, and Mr. Hood and myself about 2 weeks ago, where we took the pictures. It's actually on our site. We tweeted it and all that stuff. But we really want to recognize these students because they were chosen for their hard work. Number one, they're ranked in the top 25 of their class, % of their class. Number two, they've received a proficient on one of the assessments, and number three, an advanced in one of those assessments, the state assessment requirements. So we congratulate the members of this class. This will become part of a press release and information that we send out. It will be one of the first things that my new person will be doing next week. We think that, again, just like the rest of tonight, I know that the students aren't here, but we did recognize them at a formal breakfast and giving out their certificates. It's really important that those certificates are taken, because if you do go to UMass or you go to a PCC or wherever you're headed at the State College or University, you need that piece of paper or else they don't give you the funds, right? We know that exactly. So yeah, you need it or else they don't believe it. The bursar's office is not going to believe you unless you show them that letter. And we also keep copies just in case we have to help you down the line, but hopefully we don't. So congratulations to them and their families.
Great, thank you. All right, fiscal year 19 update, Mr. Wells.
Okay, so in your packet you have the current report. We have 5 major program areas that we've broken it down into. Regular education is basically school-based costs, principals, supplies, materials, teachers. Special education includes your out-of-district tuition, special education transportation. In the operations, we have heat, utilities, and maintenance. Administration is superintendent's, business office, payroll, administrative tech. And then transportation is mainly yellow bus transportation, and McKinney-Vento is in there as well. At this point, it's only November, so this is just kind of the first pass. Here's where we're at. We have a long season ahead of us for heating and snow removal, as well as special education costs. We keep an eye on those as well because we can have a lot of movements that can happen. So at this point in time, this is just kind of where we're at, and we're going to continue to monitor the budget and report back quarterly.
Okay.
I just wanted to add, if I may, that as you see before you for the financial and comparison, I think it's really important to take a look at the major areas that were hit. Operations down 7.34%, administration was an increase of 0.01%, and transportation was hit by a negative 1.53%, which includes all costs coming in. Special education costs at an increase of 7.95%, and regular education at 3.77%. So with the monies of this fall's town meeting, that was appropriated, which we continuously are thankful for, it makes our budget increase from the prior year at 3.57. So it's a big deal. It's a number that required us to do some things. We have funded and received requests from all 5 of the schools and departments, and all the POs from the town meeting are all going through, and we'll update that to you at the next meeting so that you have and you can see how those funds were expended, and so that other folks can see that we're in fact expending those funds for those.
But those funds, that was just for basic supplies, though. It wasn't anything. I mean, that's to keep the lights on and keep paper in.
Well, not lights on because it's material supplies, but it's paper. Paper is one of them, but the big one is the directness of the stuff that goes into the classroom. As you know, today the world is not about crayons and markers. It's beyond that, but it's those things that we had to purchase. For example, a major purchase at the high school was the grand piano, which was part of our materials and supplies line item that we did cut. We were able to put that back and purchase the $16,000 piano with that money, and also got a matching amount, making the cost less to the budget of $3,500 for my music parent group. So that's an example of something that was in our budget, that we took out of our budget, that we put back into our budget.
Any other questions or anything? No? Okay. All right, you're up again with the transportation update.
Transportation, so at this point, most of the routes they're running well. We have 2 routes that we're still looking at that are arriving late in the afternoon at the JCS, and we're collecting some information on those just to see what's going on, why they're running late, timings and everything. We still do have some, they're both on the side of town with the Reservoir Street, which still has some construction going on, so that's slowing down a bit. As far as fees go, we have 39 families that have set up payment arrangements with us. All are on time at this point. We have about $7,350 that's outstanding with those payments. We have 13 students that are no longer riding the bus due to non-payment. Of those 13, 16 previously had qualified for free and reduced benefits, but were denied this year based upon the change in the Mass Health qualifying categories for free and reduced. 4 students we have received no contact, but we are continuing to accept those payments, to contact those payments. And we have 3 students that are not riding the bus. The parent withdrew. They weren't really riding the bus to begin with, but we're still going to talk to the parent about getting some payment for those students.
So everyone's pretty much under control with that then?
I think we are, yes. And we still have people registering.
Really?
Yeah, we had 3 this week that registered.
Change in sports.
Well, two were moving, so, but one I think was a change in sports. Something was different with their home schedule, so they registered.
I think it's really, really important to recognize that the district had no notification whatsoever on the Mass Health change to the formula, which I've made folks above us say, this is not fair to families, that, we're basing it on last year. They're in school through September. Now we have to inform these families, oh, by the way, now that you filled the new paperwork and they changed the formula, you don't want to qualify. And I think that it's a continuation of a process that people don't understand what this means to families.
Right.
And unfortunately for us, we become the messenger of a message that we didn't know. It would be
Right.
wonderful if we could know that by June 1st, because we could clearly be the communicator.
Right,
We know
exactly.
the families, we know who they are.
Right.
We could say, we don't know anything. It might affect you, it might not, but be prepared that it could affect you. We couldn't even say that to families.
Yes, that's a hard hit. for
That's a
people
hard
to
hit,
have to take.
especially because you're right on that cusp.
Yeah.
You're talking about a difference of a couple of $100
Yeah.
for a family of 4.
Right.
All of a sudden, you have to come up with 2 of your kids at $350 versus
Right.
0. We're not talking about 6-figure families here. We're talking about a significant issue. So it's unfortunate that that's the way it's working, but we can't control it.
No.
We can just take our best estimate guess, which for us, the district, and through the law, always utilizes what happened the previous year for those students on free and reduced lunch, which under the statute requires free transportation. But now to have to go back and tell those families, we're the bad messenger, and we don't want to be the bad messenger.
Right.
So-
I get it. Okay. Any other questions on that? No. Okay. All right, next, vote to approve disposal of surplus supplies piano.
So before Mr. Wells says this is not something you've done a lot of, but anytime there's a need to get rid of something that's a surplus, it requires your vote. So we can't just be throwing stuff out if it has a significant amount potentially tied to it, or it's being replaced by something that has a significant amount. So, Mr. Wells?
Yeah. And the only exception to that is if we do like a trade-in on something that's not so much a disposal of a surplus item, it's using the current market that exists to get rid of it. So these are really items that are just kind of past their useful life and requires that vote. So we have a baby grand piano that was at the high school, well past its useful life. The cost of repair was well over $10,000, but the actual value, if repaired, would only be about $2,000. Right now, it's a 0 value. They can't use it, so we're asking for a vote to approve the disposal of this surplus supply.
Okay. Any questions? No. Motion to approve disposal of piano. Second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. All right, next, vote to approve substitute nurse pay rate. That's there.
Thank you. As you know, a year ago, we increased the substitute rates across the board. At this time, I'm asking specifically for the nurse substitute line item to increase from $100 a day for the daily rate for a sub-nurse to $125 in order to make us more competitive and see if we in fact can get some of these nurses that are maybe on an off day or looking for a part-time job into our schools. Our nurses do not take a lot of days off, to be quite frank, but we've had some instances this year because of their medical personal situations where they've had to take the day off, and we've had to have our high school nurse or another nurse just fill in for medication dispensary. My concern is going forward is we're going to have some difficult discussions about adding a floating nurse to the district because of the number of students that are under medication in each of the schools, plus the required new assessments that the nurses have to do, plus the traditional assessments that they have to do, and the paperwork that goes with that. So you'll be seeing some discussions about that in the budget process.
Okay.
But for tonight is to increase this pay to $125 per day, and it is within that line item budget that we utilize.
Okay. Any questions? Motion to approve the nurses' pay rate to increase to $125 a day? So moved. Second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Other business?
I do. So one of my favorite things to do is when I have scouts in the room, they don't know this is coming.
Oh.
I wanna at least have them stand up and introduce themselves and what school they go to and what grade they're in. So, you're first. Come on. Stand up. Stand up. Stand up, buddy. Tell me your name and tell me what school you go to.
I'm Vince Burke. I go to Norton Middle School.
What grade?
6.
Awesome. Thank you. And?
I'm Ian Crawford. I go to Norton Middle School and I'm also in grade 6.
Congratulations. Thank you. And?
Hi, I'm Bertie. I go to Norton Middle School as well.
What grade?
8th grade.
8th grade. And I'm going to guess your leader is here as well?
Yes.
And?
I don't go to school anymore. I'll be here to make sure that they behave.
They are behaving. And thank you. You guys are here for what reason?
For a merit badge.
For a merit badge. So this is one of the, is it the local government connection badge?
No, it's citizenship in the community.
Citizenship, yes.
And
Yep.
this is part of what they're doing. They're taking the merit badge through Merit Badge College, through the Narragansett Council.
Yep.
In December or January. And there's certain prerequisites they have to have done before they take the badge so that they can earn it within the scheduled time.
Well, I don't know if you checked the agenda for tonight, but this might have been one of the best meetings to come to, considering all the stuff that was going on that hopefully you guys are going to want to go for someday in the future. Thanks for coming out tonight. Appreciate it.
Thank you, boys. Anything else on the other?
None.
All right, so I just want to mention our next meeting is December 13th at the Norton Middle School Library. That's actually going to be a joint meeting with the Board of Selectmen. So if people are interested in attending, we would appreciate it. And I think that's it. Do we have a motion to adjourn? So moved. Second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.